Hello everybody and welcome back to Ant Holleufer. Today we are unboxing the new AntBoyUk macro starter kit with the round outworld instead of the square outworld. Yeah, that's new. And together with that we are also unboxing a size 2 macro nest. And just to clarify everything here, this video is not sponsored. I did use my own money to buy the ant nest. And with that being said, let's start the video. A new day, a new package. As you can see, I was really creative with my permanent marker this time to just take off all the details. You know, this is really necessary to do as a creator. I don't know if it is, but yeah, that is how it is. Unboxing this package went semi-okay today. I was pretty quick to get the grip and, you know, enter the package. And straight away, I got a little liquid feeder. And pretty soon after I realized that I had to take it away from the table and slowly unbox it there. So the next thing we had is a little protein jelly and the outworld and a little plastic bag with a few accessories. Then we had another liquid feeder, the size 2 macro nest and the size 1 macro nest, and a little card with all of AntBoyUk's personal details. If you wanted to contact him, we have all the details right here. And with that being said, let's get straight into the important part, the detailed part. So the first thing we're gonna look at are these liquid feeders. They are really different to what normal people see as liquid feeders, both because they are gray, but also because they have a little bit of a different design, with them being, you know, different. They don't have the same look as normal liquid feeders, which is just nice because it's always nice to have some different looks. And another nice thing is that these liquid feeders are made out of glass. You can't hear it, but I put them together and the glass part on top is glass and not plastic. Of course, the rest is 3D printed. With that being said, let's move on to the next part, which is this little test tube connector. So this is a test tube connector where you put in your test tube and then you have a perfectly little access port for your nest. Now I will take a closer look at this a little bit later. The other thing I brought out is a little feeding dish. I'll talk a little bit about that later because I didn't quite know what it was. And lastly, we have this syringe. And I must say, I love these type of syringes. I got one from High Tech Ants and it's the only syringe I use. Just, it's kind of hard to get the cap on. There I go. They're just so amazing and I'm never using the normal plastic ones. I'm only using these containers. And of course, lastly, we had the little protein jelly. So, with all of that in place, let's go on with the outworld. And you know, we need some space, so let's just clear out the desk because clearly we don't have enough space. So, can I clear it out? Thank you, myself from the past. And this right here is the outworld. So as you can see, it is a really nice and solid build. And this lid right here fits snug perfectly on. You can't push it on from the side, it has to be straight on because it is that precise. And all these small dots are very small ventilation holes. So there are ventilation holes all over the top of this lid, which is really nice. And they are so small that ants can't get through them. Another thing is this little imprinted AntBoyUk ant keeping made easy text is on the lid, which is nice. It's a nice little personal touch and I like it. Going on with the outworld, we have this little tube connector here and I took it out and tried to put in the other size. It is the same size, you just have to have a little bit of hot water or some patience to get this on. But you see, I got it on without any problems. And with that all in place, I noticed that the outworld had a little crack, which is something that is bad, I guess, but I didn't really mind as it is on the side and I'll never see it when I put it on the ant shelf. But I don't really mind as it's both a cheap nest and once again, you will never see it from the sides because, you know, you'll see it directly on and directly on, you don't notice it. Another thing is between the bottom layer and the sides, you have this kind of liquid glue or something that they have used to glue it all together. And it's just another thing to mind. Don't really mind it because, you know, I'll put some substance in. So one thing I don't really like is that the entrance is pretty high up. I would have liked it to get a little bit closer to the ground because I kind of feel like I have to fill all of this space up with substrate, which is quite annoying in my eyes. But moving on from that, we have the macro nest size 2. And, you know, doing a little professional unboxing here, going in and grabbing the nest, taking it out. And here we have the red and the black acrylic lids for covering up the nest. So personally, I think I'll use the black lid because, you know, I like the ants to have a completely darkness. With my other nest where I have a red lid, I often just put tinfoil on top of it, at least in the founding stages, as ants can be pretty sensitive in the founding stages. But I find it very nice that you can both get a black and a red lid if that suits your style. So, of course, we have to peel off this amazing red acrylic. And I don't have sound on my camera because, you know, if I had that out, my autofocus will scream in the background and therefore it's muted. So you just gotta feel the nice sound that comes out of this. And this is the end result. So it's a really nice clear acrylic, and putting it on the nest, you see it is really well fitted. And another thing is, I don't know if it's on purpose, I think it's on purpose, but you can't put it on upside down. It doesn't quite click in it, it just kind of lays on top. And that's something nice because I didn't even notice, I didn't quite understand why the lid didn't want to completely get on, but then I realized it was upside down. So a really nice detail. And right here we have the black lid to follow. Switching it out, and the black lid is now on the nest and it's completely dark. So here we have a little spinny round without any lid. Then with the red lid. And then with the black lid. Damn, nice transitions. So this right here is once again the size 2 macro nest. And before we get into the good stuff, I must say, from the sides you can't really see it, but the acrylic is a little bit uneven, feeling it. But you know, you'll never really realize that because once the ants live inside the nest, you won't carry it around all over the place. And the good thing is you can't see it. So once again, not a bad thing, just a thing to keep in mind. And I don't really mind because you will never feel it because you can't see it and you don't feel your nest when there's ants inside. But moving on to some of the really good stuff that I personally love is that this acrylic is cut so we have tunnels inside the nest. So the ants have to go up and down, which simulates a natural environment, and it's just a really nice thing. I'm not quite sure if anybody else on the market is using acrylic to make these different layers. I know high-tech ants make some different layers, like small differences, but this is huge differences, and I just really like the thought of remaking the nest a little bit, both for the ants but also for us to see them climb a little bit around. But moving on from the size 2 nest to the size 1 nest, because you have to do it in the opposite direction if you are a real pro like me. So while I take off the red acrylic plastic, let's talk a little bit about that feeding dish in the background, because I thought it was a nest entrance blocker or something, and I just couldn't figure out why it didn't click to both the small nest and the big nest before I read that it was a feeding dish on the website. So that's typical me. But as you can see, this is with the red lid on top of the size 1 nest. And this is the black lid on top of the size 1 nest. So something that's really nice that I didn't ask for is he actually imprinted my name to the nest. So this is something everyone can get if they talk to him about it, and it is free. And yeah guys, this is the macro 1 nest, and here you can see I'm fiddling a little bit with the test tube connector, trying it out, see how it works. and I brought out a test tube, and this is a normal plastic test tube that everyone sells. At first I thought it was too big or something because it didn't quite fit, but then it clicked and then it just fitted perfectly. And this is how it looks with the test tube connected. And taking off this connector, as you can see, it's a really nice fit and no ants will ever escape from this connector. So getting the macro lens on to look at the nest, you can see once again we have these different heights for the ants to climb in and under to get around the nest. And I don't know, I really like the thought of this because from the top it looks like it's cut off or something, and it isn't, and I don't know, it's a whole thing that I'm really a fan of, and I wish more people did stuff like this, because I really like it. And that has been everything from this package. As you can see, a really nice starter kit with the size 2 nest by its side. And all in all, I am really happy with the result and the quality of all of these products. There are some small things, but then again, these aren't expensive things. These are really cheap and it's perfect for starter ant keepers to join the hobby with some good, cheap quality products. So yeah guys, that has been it for this video. Hopefully you liked it as much as I liked unboxing the nest and the rest of the starter kit. No matter what, this is meant for my new Fidoli colony I unboxed last week. So go ahead and check that video out now where you are doing that. Link in the top right corner, which is actually left for me. Fun fact right there. But yeah guys, this is meant for my Fidoli colony. When they grow big enough, I'll put them in the size 1 nest. And hopefully they'll grow extremely fast and move into the size 2 nest. And with that being said, don't forget to check out AntBoyUk. There's a link in the description for his website. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!